Hi, I'm Kat Joseph with the Paisano. I'm asking African American students about their experiences with Black history and culture. Who do you think we don't celebrate enough during Black History Month?
I definitely don't think that we celebrate Malcolm X enough. Although he had some strong opinions about how the Black community should behave, I think that his belief that the Black community should come together was one that we should really take to heart.
I feel like there are a lot of female African American that are not celebrated, that go unnoticed, because there's always the really famous ones. There's also many that are like, oh yeah, like currently living, doing a change in this world for us that are not celebrated.
We don't really take a step back and see what the everyday Black person, Black mom, Black dad had to deal with.
Especially in the Black community, I don't think that queer people and LGBTQ people are paid attention to, and it makes me really upset. And I feel that, you know, we're very valid, and we should be able to have a voice even in the Black community.
Is parenting different among Black families or the same?
I definitely think that parenting in Black households is a little bit different, especially because parents really encourage us to be careful and tell us that we need to work twice as hard to get where we want to go.
I think there's many things that are similar, but there's many things that are different. For example, whenever somebody, a quick example with the talk, it's like usually like, oh yeah, like it's the birds and the bees, but whenever, I never had the talk, but there will be talks like how you should act in front of the police or how you should act in front of authority. And it's like, yeah, no, like you have to act better than you're expected to be. I was taught through like if I was ever stopped, but I know that there's many of my friends who are like, they never had that conversation with their parents.
My biological father left, but my stepdad is white, so I kind of have a biracial family, and it seems pretty on point as to everybody else's with the standard, you know, curfews and rules and regulations.
Yeah, I think Black parents are sometimes a little bit more strict, and there's also some things that Black parents have to talk to us about that other people don't experience. So, for example, just having to talk to us about how to behave with cops, or how to even behave around white people sometimes, or just behaving in general. I've always, like my mom has always said, oh yeah, you have to work like 10 times harder than a white person. And obviously there's a lot of people that don't have to be told that as a child.
What was your experience as a young Black child?
As a young Black child, I grew up in a predominantly white area, so I didn't really see a lot of people who looked like me, but I don't think that that affected me growing up and becoming who I am today. I do think that that kind of made me a better person, because I was able to see how other people think of me, and I didn't really let that bring me down in any way.
It was weird. Even when I was a kid, and it might sound dumb, I remember like the first time somebody called me Black, and I just was like, again, it's really dumb. It's like, I'm not Black, I'm like brown, like know your colors. Like that's exactly what I told him. And I went up to my dad, I was like, hey dad, like somebody in my school called me Black, and he's like, how did they say it? Who said it? Like, was it a teacher? Was it a student? And I remember like my father like getting like really like, okay, like was it like offensive? Like was it meant offensive? I was not aware that there was bullying. It is hard. It was hard, but I guess it's just another chapter in life.
Well, so it's pretty standard. My stepfather's been in my life my whole life, so I always had a Black mom and a white dad. When it came to like racism, it wasn't mainly because I was Black, because I was born and spent a lot of my time in Hawaii. It was mainly because I wasn't a native, like a native to Hawaii.
There's some things that I had to experience that other people probably wouldn't have if they weren't Black, and also queer.
Did you ever notice any cultural differences while you were growing up?
Yeah, I definitely noticed cultural differences in how free my parents were with letting me leave the house, for example. I wasn't really allowed to hang out with my friends too much.
From small things like food that I would eat that my friends were like, what is this? Is this exotic? To words or expressions that I would say that my friends are like, what? What do you mean? This is small stuff that, like, just for example, slang words or the way that I represent myself to my friends.
Well, like growing up, you want to like blend in and be amongst your group of people. So I did pretty much what all the other islanders did. Climbed the trees and grabbed coconuts and surfed and did everything.
Yes, I noticed differences between my culture and other cultures. Growing up, there's just instances like where I would be playing with somebody at their house or something, or say I would be playing with like a white person at their house, and then the way that they would talk to their parents or something would be completely different from how I was taught to talk to my parents, like saying yes ma'am, no ma'am.
Do you feel you learned enough about Black history in school?
In elementary school and middle school, no, I don't think I did. It was just the bare minimum, MLK Day, stuff like that. But I think in college, I've learned a little bit more, especially in African American studies.
I do not think I learned enough about Black history. It feels like we have a set, okay, this is what happened, and this is why we celebrate Black history. But it just feels like it skims over what really, like, all this story. For example, the only time I've ever actually been proud of one of my teachers is because she actually showed us a movie, or she actually went in a whole class in depth about Black history. Once in like my high school life, like that was once, and that's it. Like that one day that I remember.
I feel like it's sugar-coated the way that a little kid would be taught. And I think people get the basics of it, but if you really want to learn something, the same way with almost every other subject, you have to dig deeper and find your own truth behind it.
I do not feel like I learn enough about Black history in school. I feel like our textbooks from high school, middle school, even probably now in college, are pretty whitewashed. I don't believe that they show all of our culture and all of our history for what it's been. I feel like they kind of gloss over certain aspects.
What does Black History Month mean to you?
Embracing Black culture and learning more about all the struggles that the Black community has had to overcome in the past, and looking forward to what we can accomplish in the future.
Black History Month, for me, it means that I get to maybe not celebrate, but acknowledge that Black people and our culture has gone through a lot of change, and that we're looking into a brighter future.
The value behind Black History Month is really an appreciation for the heroes who did step up and the people who did back and support the people who wanted change and wanted to make things as equal as possible for all races.
Black History Month. I'll be honest and say I think it's cool that we do have Black History Month, but at the same time, I think it's a little messed up that we only have just like, I don't know, I feel like America's trying to make up for our past by just giving us this 1 month, and I feel like it doesn't make up for it. I think that we instead need to support Black people and appreciate our culture and actually put in programs to support our communities as well, instead of just giving us this 1 month and being like, oh yeah, here you are.
Thanks for watching. Click our logo to subscribe, or click one of the videos for more from the Paisano. Leave a comment letting us know your thoughts and what you'd like to see us cover next.